threat, though. Osokin has lost his last 2 fights in Britain and has only 3 knockouts to his credit in 20 bouts. Well, Audley's going to leave me now up here on the stage and go down to ringside to commentate alongside Jim.
Seconds out, round 1.
Well, it's terrific to see Herbie Hyde back in a boxing ring, the former 2-time WBO heavyweight champion of the world. Lost the title for the 2nd time a couple of years ago to the Ukrainian Vitaly Klitschko and decided to make a comeback. And at the age of 29, he's by no means too old, but there's some people at the age of 29 are just starting out.
That's correct, Jim, that's correct. You don't need to harbour on.
Herbie Hyde at his heaviest ever, 16.5 stones. He's the best part of 3/4 of a stone heavier than when he lost to Klitschko. And he set about his Russian opponent, Alexei Osokin, who's 16 stone 4 himself in considerable style. I suppose it's one of these contests where he certainly wants to get this one out of the way pretty quickly.
Definitely, he's been out for a long time. He's just come back, but as you can see, he looks sharp, he's heavier, he's still got the speed, and he looks quite lively here.
Well, he was known as the Dancing Destroyer. Put in a terrific performance to win the world title for the very first time when he beat Michael Bent. Lost it then to Riddick Bowe. And then came back a couple of years later and defeated Tony Tucker, who'd gone the distance with both Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. And Herbie Hyde at 16.5 stone doesn't look as if he's carrying too much weight at all.
No, he looks very taut. He looks very sharp as well, considering he's been out so long. And this bodes well for his future. He says he wants to come back and climb all the way through to the heavyweight championship of the world again. Obviously, this is a long way from that, but he's looking quite sharp.
Well, he's got to start somewhere against a man who is boxing in the UK for the 4th time. Boxed in October in '99 in Belfast and lost to the former German Olympic representative Luan Krasnicki. Hyde just taking his time. He's got to pace this one nicely, but he looks very strong. He looks very confident. He's been sparring with one Michael Sprott, who has got a round or 2 with you, Audley.
That's right. Yeah, he's put in the work. You know, he's put in the work. It's a very good signing from UK Presents from Jess Harding, and this gives Herbie Hyde a platform to come back on terrestrial television and to see if he can climb all the way to the top again.
Well, a nicely paced opening round by the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, Herbie Hyde. One of the big criticisms in his career, if it was indeed a criticism, that he was a little bit too small and came unstuck against big men, but he's having no problem with this Russian, and this is a very, very lively start by Herbie Hyde. From Leeds, the referee Mickey Van saying to Herbie Hyde, just watch where you're punching. I think it's more enthusiasm and ring rustiness rather than genuine malice on the part of Herbie Hyde.
Yeah, that's correct, that's correct. He just really wants to impress here today, and so far he's impressing.
Solid right hand, and Mazakin, or Osokin I should say, had to go down, and he's gone down again. Go to the neutral corner from Mickey Van. Impressive start by Herbie Hyde. This will, I don't think, is going to go anywhere near the scheduled 8 rounds. Osokin lucky to survive that round. There's a little rueful grin in his face because he felt the power of a 16.5 stone Herbie Hyde, who did look impressive. Timing's a little bit off, but the power's there, Audley.
Yeah, and also very importantly, the speed is there. And he's throwing hard punches, and this opponent here doesn't really want to stay around too much longer, it looks like.
Well, he'll be 30 years old next month, and we saw some of the old Herbie Hyde. Those fast hands and that towering over the top right hand put his man down. Well, the ref came on board, and Mazakin has a good look into the referee's eyes and vice versa, and Mickey Van, who's had that camera wrapped around his waist, decides that his man can continue.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting where Herbie Hyde's placed. Obviously, he's been out for a little while. It's going to be interesting after this to see where he's placed in terms of the British rankings and in terms of the world rankings, because he could well go in right in the mix for a British title shot.
And would you be in that mix?
Yeah, somewhere along the line I am going to be in that mix, but obviously where Herbie Hyde is now and where I am is obviously 2 different places.
Well, we're here in Liverpool. That's where Herbie Hyde is at the moment, and looking very impressive, looking for that right uppercut, and he looks taut and strong and very well muscled, and he looks big and he looks impressive. And the Russian opponent Osokin is getting a fair old thumping. Hyde doing a little bit of holding and hitting. Osokin stuck his tongue out at him. I'm not sure that's the wisest thing in the world to do.
Well, at least it shows that Osokin is not here just to lie down. You know, he's showing a bit of determination, a bit of grit, and he's not just going to fall over.
Osokin has been in the UK twice this year, both in February, lost to the improving Matthew Ellis and lost also to the useful John McDermott, both on points, but I don't think he's going to see the end of the 8th round if Herbie Hyde puts in, well, some of Herbie Hyde's typical flurries.
Yeah, that's how Herbie fights. He goes up and down through his gears. Lovely shots on the inside there, and now he's just trying to pace himself a bit and look for that jab and try and really break this guy up.
Osokin ducking down meant that Hyde once again caught him in the back of the neck. Osokin just standing and wobbling, and well, he seems to be enjoying himself. He's one of these great Eastern European journeymen that, well, are a necessity in boxing, because you've got to make a comeback against someone.
Yeah, I think this is a reasonable test for Herbie Hyde. He's been out for 2 years. He's come back in looking taut, and he comes back in, he's looking sharp, and he looks like he wants to fight.
And that upper torso of his looks as if he's been pumping some serious iron as well.
Most definitely. Obviously, he hasn't gone over 16 stones before in his career, as far as I'm aware, so definitely he's coming a stone heavier, and he looks all the better for it.
Well, this is the first time in his career as well that he's actually been heavier than his opponent, and his opponent is weighing in at 16.4, although he's an inch or two shorter.
Yeah, now he's gone to using the jab, which is reasonably fast as well, and he's setting up the right hand to the body.
Oh, great right hand shot. Hyde once again has to go to the neutral corner. Osokin has taken another hard shot. A minute to go to the end of the second. Hyde puffing and blowing a little bit, that's to be expected, but he's gone about his work and he went for the body, and once again Osokin has been very cheeky and taunting him. He's got a little round sort of almost pixie-like face.
Yeah, he's bringing a bit of fun to the contest, but what Herbie's got to do is not bite to it and just concentrate on what he's doing, and he'll get this guy out of there.
Well, there was a bludgeoning right hand has put his man down once again. And Osokin doesn't seem to be hurt. I don't know whether Mickey Van is going to stop this or not. Osokin complaining that he's getting hit round the back of the head, but that's as much to do with his own style as the way Herbie is punching.
That's correct. He's ducking his head down low, and Herbie just letting off clusters of punches, and obviously some of them are going to hit him on the top of the head as he's ducking down.
Well, Osokin is such an easy target that Herbie's not having to pull out too much. That looked like a slip. Yeah, Mickey Van saying, no, don't bother with the count, that was a slip.
Yeah, Osokin's being brave here, but I think he hasn't got much left to offer, and he's looking for a way out, in my opinion.
Mickey Van asking him, are you all right? And Herbie Hyde being told to keep the punch up, because that was a bit of a low one. Osokin just covering up. He's not really offering in terms of attack. Well, that is the worst imitation of an alley shuffle I have ever seen.
Yeah, what Herbie has to do here is not lose it, just keep focused, because this guy here, he's starting to fancy it, not in terms of beating Herbie Hyde, but he wants to stay there a bit more. The crowd is starting to walk to him. Herbie's just got to keep focused.
Yeah, needless to say, when he starts pleasing the crowd like that, the crowd will get behind him.
That's correct.
Well, this is the 26-year-old, and this now is the 29-year-old. Was the defeated ABA finalist as a teenager way back in 1989, lost to Henry Akinwande, and then came through and twice won the world title. Terrific right hand to the ribs. Terrific shot, really took the steam out of his opponent. And some of the old Herbie Hyde coming through in that exchange.
Yeah, that's right. He's setting up with the jab, looking for that right to the body, and that's how he's got to beat up this guy. Really not holy for punches, because the guy's tucking up. Just look for the single shot, and that's more than likely going to end the contest.
Round 3.
A lot of water and sweat over the well-muscled torso of Herbie Hyde at the start of this third round. Alexei Osokin, cheeky-faced, really taunting the former world champion, inviting him to come forward. Hyde getting him to the body once again. Those are hard strength-snapping shots. Well, the crowd love this, and to be fair, Hyde is just keeping his composure.
Yeah, Hyde needs to remain professional here. You know, he's going to take this guy out, but it's just when he does it, and obviously he doesn't want to start getting involved with making this guy look better than he is.
Herbie Hyde, the hands held characteristically low, trying that body shot again, got his man. Mickey Van is having a good look at Osokin. He's certainly not going to let him take too much punishment. He's told Osokin to start boxing.
That's correct. It's all right showboating, but you've got to try and throw some punches back, because otherwise Mickey Van's in danger of stopping the contest.
Well, if this was an amateur contest, he'd be warned for passivity. But it's not an amateur contest, and the man opposing Alexei Osokin is by no means an amateur.
No, he's a very durable guy, as he's shown in previous time he's been to these shores. He's a durable guy, and you know, Herbie's put him down 3 times, but he's still getting up. So Herbie's going to have to think a bit more now about what he's doing and break this guy up.
Hyde just taking his time, and the style of the Russian has allowed him to take his time and pick his target. Good left hand into the body, and that's that soft target area, and Osokin's got hurt, and the referee's called it off. Osokin can have no complaints whatsoever. Hyde really nailed him to the body with a very good shot. It was going to be a matter of time. Well, the crowd booing a little bit, but that's, I think, because Osokin was making them laugh and making them chuckle. But it's a serious business, and Herbie Hyde, I think, is back in a reasonably serious way.
Yeah, I think he can be reasonably happy with that performance. Been out for a long time. Osokin was starting to warm to the crowd. The crowd were enjoying it, but Herbie's the main guy in this fight, and he can move on to the next phase.
Well, there's the referee's view of how the thing was over. There was that right hand to the body. Osokin, well, showboating once again, laughing and enjoying himself, but Herbie Hyde eventually tracked him down, and Osokin really in no position to defend himself. Herbie Hyde smashing to the canvas, and there was that very, very good left hand right into that rather soft midriff of the Russian, and Mickey Van quite rightly called it off. So welcome back, Herbie Hyde, and who knows where this comeback will lead him. He's signed for at least 3 more fights with Jess Harding, and I think we've still a fair bit of Herbie Hyde to see.
Yeah, most definitely. Obviously, there's an interesting British title fight going on at the end of this month, and you know, Herbie's not going to be too far off that, and you know, you like to see him going in there.
Well, we'll get the official decision, but it's welcome back with a vengeance to Herbie Hyde.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute 31 seconds of round 3, the referee Mickey Van having stopped the contest, Alexei Osokin being in no position to continue. Your winner on his comeback fight from Norwich, Herbie Hyde.
Herbie, what was your verdict?
My verdict was people like him, they make a living from taking good punches. He can take a good punch. He was not in my class at all, but and one thing he can do, he can take a good punch.
What would you have learned from tonight? Did it seem a bit strange getting back in the ring after the break?
2 years off the ring, a bit rusty, but I'll be back. Yeah, I'm back now. I'm back. But what I'm saying is I'll win my title back. You know, this is about coming here, having 2 or 3 rounds, exciting. I think, yeah, I'm ready. I'm going to come back. Believe me, I'm winning my title back.
Yeah. The long-term plan is what exactly?
The long-term plan is for World Heavyweight Championship fight. I want a world title. And British title, I'm not really too keen on it because I won that when I was 20 years old, so they have no interest for me. But if Danny Williams or Julius Francis, they were my ex-sparring partners. I used to pay them £100 a day to spar with them. They're not really in my league. But if that means to fight them on BBC, whatever, I'll knock them out. I'll take the title and then fight for world title.
Okay, well done tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.